Why hello there, fellow pirates. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Corsair Cove. Episode 2, Defending Our Cove with Guntowers. So, captain time. Let me talk about captains real quick. Each captain will have their own strengths and weaknesses. So you have Teach here. Teach is, he sinks ships. He likes to shoot things, and the ships he captained have extra health and stronger cannons. So as you can see with him selected, health is up 4, and cannons are up 0.4. Kanja is a spice smuggler. So he's a spice thief. When he's a captain, he gets extra supplies, which allows you to take more actions in combat and the like, and extra speed. Scarlet is a boarder. She likes to board enemy ships and, like, fight with, you know, her crew. So she gets extra health and extra boarding damage. And then, last but not least, Honorata. She's a brave explorer. She gets extra speed and maneuverability. And the people that you put in charge are actually quite important. They give you a, like, percentage bonus, which is tiny for the landlubber. But later on, when your ships have, like, stats of 30... a 20% bonus on 30 is a lot more than a 20% bonus on 3, obviously, in terms of pure stats. And it's also noted that, like, we'll be switching around the captains a lot, and we'll get into why in a bit, but there's a reason to swap your captains around. What kind of combat is more common? That is entirely up to you, actually, and the types of engagements you want. So if you want to play where you are raiding crown bases and destroying their ships, probably Teach or Scarlet is going to be the person for you. And if you want to play as like an explorer and a smuggler, someone like Kanja or Honorata are for you. And you don't necessarily have to play one style. The game is kind of open to you playing how you want. So it looks like initially we're going to pick Kanja, the Spice Thief. Additionally, it's worth noting the special abilities. So Teach's special ability is easy as murder. We'll get into what the dice mean, but basically, as he deals damage, he just keeps dealing more and more damage. It's like a snowballing effect. Kanja has an all or nothing. Gain extra dice next turn, and if your dice pool results in less than 5 next turn, it becomes 1. Then Scarlet has a Rise Up Mateys, gain +1 dice pool for the rest of the objective, which in my opinion is quite strong. And then Honorata gets a gain supplies based upon the dice outcome, but take more crew damage. So that is very, very important on long deployments. But here we go, assigning Kanja. Alright, now we need to hire at least 10 crew. So if I hit manage crew, we can hire all 10 because we didn't execute those crown soldiers at the start. Quest completed. Hire 10 crew.
I don't have all day.
Alright, now the objective is to complete the Barbos Bay mission. So first, we're going to embark out beyond Skull Rock. Because I can't see anything, we need to do a little bit of exploration first. Alright, at the moment, it also looks as if after hiring all those swabbies, our galley is going to run out of food. So I'm going to create another campfire to provide more input, because as you can see up here, we produce 16, we consume 18, and I could either boost the original campfire, or I could just build another campfire, and it's not like our population is going to go down, so I might as well just build another campfire. Seems more reasonable response. Should hydrate with rum? Oh, if only I had some, right?
Time to make it. Let's get this over with.
Okay. Kanja just explored the local area, and as you can see, as the game progresses, you go out and out and out, further out, and essentially the farther you go from Skull Rock, the harder it will get. So stay within this sphere initially, because it will get frighteningly difficult if you don't. All right, I am actually going to go to the Drifting Castaways first before doing the Barbos Bay mission.
New land.
It's right in front of us, and we need more hands. So I like that as a next idea. So crew adds a bonus to the ship. I forgot to mention, but as you add crew to your ship, it increases its ship strength. And there's different types of crew later on. So we'll get into that once it becomes more relevant. Okay.
Finest coin, my friend.
During our journey, we come across a small raft bouncing around on the ocean whims. A handful of tired men and women are on it, clinging to dear life as best as they can. They must be survivors of a shipwreck. We can rescue them and force them into our crew. We could offer anyone who wishes to join. Or we could rob them and raise our cohesion. So a loss of... And what I will say is, at cohesion 35, losing more cohesion right now is maybe not a good idea. Because that would put us at 20, which is spit and distance for loss. However, it's not to say that adding cohesion is necessary at the moment either. And it looks like you're just going to offer whoever wishes to join. Now, one thing that's important to note here is if we take a look at this landlubber and take a look at crew or the cargo, the drifters are in the boat. The drifters are not back at camp. They won't be back at camp until we return to camp. So clicking this return to pier button will have them go back to camp. So I'm going to send Kanja and the landlubber back to camp, and then I'll have them go out to the Barbos Bay incident. Knowing that the camp is about to expand, however, it would be in my best interest to add some more tents. So there's 4 more tents. Now these symbols is just, there's no drifters available to actually do the work, which is fine. They'll build 2 tents and then build the other 2. We're pretty nice pirates so far. Yeah, we're reasonable. And there we go.
Where to?
All right, now Kanja is going to head out to embark. Ooh. You know what? There's a merchant ship sitting right here.
Is this the slowest ship ever built? We might just swim to Barbos Bay instead.
So there's plenty of like random events that happen out here, like merchant ships, treasure ships, whales, sharks, storms, etc. And I'm low-key interested in intercepting this merchant ship, because why not? Sounds like a good time before we do the Barbos Bay. And then take a look at the camp here. I only have 1 extra tent for housing. So we're basically our housing limit. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the path here to put another house, and I'm going to start a 2nd level of it. And then we'll create a path up to the houses like that. There we go. And that looks a little bit more organic. So basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a lot of extra housing so that if our population expands, we can absorb the population without really any issue. Yeah, by the time I get there, I might be doing both. Luckily, encounters are kind of one at a time, but you also can get it intercepted. So if you're like in stormy water or in waters that have like a pirate hunter or something like that, they could intercept you and then stop you.
Merchants should never sail without escort. Let's remind them why.
Okay. This requires me to explain what the hell's going on. So in an encounter, you'll have generally multiple stages. First stage right now is to chase them down, where we need to get within 600 meters of them. And we'll have dice to determine how it happens. So at the moment, the merchant here has 1 die, and I have 1 die. And they are trying to prevent me from moving in 150 to 250 meters, and also dealing damage to my ship. And what I could do here is ride the swell, gain 250 to 350 meters, and also prevent damage to the ship. Now, the merchants here can damage my ship, damage my crew, or damage my supplies. Let me hide the overlay and not hide myself. So that, I'm over there now. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Just because I didn't want to hide this left section. Now, my 2 cents, if you gotta damage something, damage your ship. Damaging your crew, once you're out of crew, you lose. And damaging your supplies is generally a bad idea, because once you run out of supplies, you can't take actions. Now, each one of these cards here costs a certain amount of supplies. The number here is how many. So, hook shots, which is reduce all opponents' stats by 1 to 3 on the dice roll, require 4 supplies, which is twice as expensive as anything else here. And then if you run out of supplies, there is support actions. Support actions might be something like damage the crew and damage your ship to gain supplies. Or just run. So when you're out of supplies, you can cannibalize your crew or ship to gain more supplies, but it's like putting you in a pretty bad spot, tactically. Plus, it takes a whole turn to do, so it's to be avoided at all cost. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Ride the Swell, preventing damage to our ship and trying to gain on them for two supplies. And I gain 200 distance. All right, now they have sharpshooters. They're trying to deal damage, and as you can see, this is 2 to 3 damage based upon their cannons or their gun damage, plus dice roll to player. And in this case, I could prevent crew damage, but I can't prevent crew damage and catch up to them. I don't have a card that does that. But what this would do is this would give me another die next turn, so that my next turn is more effective. So I'm going to do Hold Fast. Our supplies per voyage or per counter per voyage. You can resupply back at your base, and then there's friendly ports where you can resupply. But when you're low on supplies on your ship, you need to do one or the other. Riding around with no supplies is suicide. So I hold fast, and now I have 2 die in my die pool, which is going to make me more effective at chasing down this merchant. So as you can see here, you remember how Ride the Swell was like not those numbers, like half of those numbers? Because I have 2 die in my die pool, I now have far more effective Ride the Swell than I did 2 turns ago. So let's Ride the Swell. And we gain 300 distance. Now, they are trying to do the same thing with the barrel mines. We'll Ride the Swell again. And we broke even. Now they're just trying to prevent 1 to 200 meter gain. And as long as I gain, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is just Ride the Swell again. And we close the distance.
A good scare will be enough to make them strike their colors.
Okay. In this segment of the engagement, we need to reduce the opponent's health and crew below 75%. We're not trying to sink them. We're trying to capture their stuff. They are dealing damage to my ship and then taking twice as much hull damage. So what I could do is a cruel comeback, which is to deal damage to the crew and prevent damage to my ship. It's not going to fully prevent damage to my ship, but as I said before, ships can be repaired, crew are harder to replace. Alternatively, well, yeah, I mean, the damage for cruel comeback works, so let's do it. Okay, so they're down 7 crew. Now this turn they're trying to prevent crew damage, and that's all they're doing. So I could deal ship damage.
They surrender their cargo.
And we win.
We return with spoils aplenty.
So I gained 3 cohesion. I gained 14 supplies, or lost 14 supplies because I used it, and then gained 100 planks in my cargo.
What?
So if I click on my ship here, as you can see, I only have 10 out of the 24 supplies left. And then in my hull, it's full of planks. However, I didn't lose any of my swabbies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Kanja back to resupply, and then I'll go do the Barbos Bay. Oh, whoops. This galley was not supplying off of both kitchens, both campfires. So I just did that, and it's going to resolve the supply chain issues that we had. Basically, this campfire was cooking for no one. Alright, this warehouse here, I'm going to have it stockpile... Actually, you know what? I'm going to choose to move my warehouse. So, let's go ahead and just do that. I'm going to build a warehouse, as I mentioned before, like here to support the pier. And then I'm going to phase out this warehouse entirely. All right, so now the Conja's back. He brought back 100 planks. And in order to repair... Well, actually, the ship is repaired for free because it's like the landlubber or whatever. So let's have him just fill up the crew. Although, I must say, the swabbies aren't very effective as crew. In doing that, I will need a little bit more moonshine. And rather than making another still, I'm just going to boost the original. And then I'll have Kanja head out to the Barbos Bay to go do that. Alright, this warehouse is going to fetch planks from the original one and planks from the sawmill too. Actually, let's not even worry about the sawmill yet. Let's just fetch it from the original one. Also, let's fetch it from the pier. Well, where did the pier... Yeah. Fetch it from the pier as well, because the pier got up a whole bunch of planks from that last merchant ship. So we're fetching the planks from both the pier and the warehouse. And temporarily, I can reduce the path from the new warehouse to the old warehouse by doing that. Actually, I might even be able to make it shorter. Nope, not quite. Alright, that's fine. These types of paths are free, so you can experiment as you want with them. Eventually, you'll get connectors that are not free. They're more efficient, but more expensive. Or expensive, I should say.
Where to?
Right, I was at full health, only supplies was missing. True. Alright, heading to the Barbos Bay. Yeah, there's some pig playing here, if you're wondering. Us pirates love hanging out with the pigs. There's lots of life going on, let's say.
Finest coin, my friend.
All right, here it is, Barbos Bay.
So you followed us. No matter. Are you here for your tavern keep? Then you will have to take our fire.
Okay, defend for 3 turns. I don't have to do anything here, I just have to defend. The opponent gains 2 die next turn, and 1 die to me next turn. The Tides of Fate. Now, in these instances, I could also just start stealing and gain treasure, which is not a bad call. Or I could try to gain more dice pool. So if I have 1 die and I get +3, and she's giving me another one, I'll have 5 die next turn. So I'm going to do an all or nothing. Boom! Because I knew she was giving me a die, now I have 5 die in my dice pool. And she is super screwed when I do windfall here. So she's trying to steal my supplies, and I don't have any more any battle action to stop that. But I do have windfall. All right, now she's trying to deal damage to my crew. So let's just take cover.
You see, Amara? Pirates don't give up so easily. Now let me go, or they'll shoot this pork to bloody pieces.
Okay, she's doing Tides of Fate again. And what I think I'm going to do is do another all or nothing. All right, she's trying to prevent base damage 2 to 7. And I'm going to do heavy fire 4 to 12. Now she's trying to do 2 to 3 damage to my ship. And I'm going to do heavy fire again. Port cannons again. Heavy fire again. Sturdy walls. Heavy fire might not end up doing damage, but they only have 1 HP left, as you can see. So let's try it. It didn't do damage. It's fine. Deal damage to health. Heavy fire. And I should win on this turn. There we go.
We yield. Cease your fire and take back your bloody tavern keep.
So we gained 13 cohesion, 110 coin, 3 supplies that we looted, and then also stone blocks and black powder.
Let's get this over with.
And
Enjoy
we
your little victory while you can. This is far from over.
freed Rambulian.
Right to put my trust in you lot. Thanks for pulling me out.
You're welcome, Rambulian. We broke our tavern keep out of prison. Our first real victory against the crown. Amara has promised a swift revenge. Let her
Now
come.
let's make for home. Amara's flagship will be fixed up any moment now. No doubt she'll come for us then.
All right, send the ship back to the pier. It'll be there in 2 minutes.
Why did the Spanish wench kidnap you anyway?
Perhaps she thinks this tavern keep is more dangerous than all you lot combined.
You? All you do is serve drinks and swap the counter.
I got us all here, didn't I?
I mean, to his credit, he was the one that broke them all out. He's kind of the brains, I think. All right, here comes Kanja with the tavern keep. And this warehouse is no longer pulling loot from the pier, so I'm going to remove that connection. Kanja has returned with plunder of both... Ooh, We hear shouting from ashore. Familiar faces from Amara's ship are clinging to flotsam and driftwood. More survivors of our harrowing escape coming to join the crew. And we gained cohesion, coin, blocks, and black powder.
Where to?
Our island has all we need to build defenses. Let's get to it, and soon.
Okay, I also just got rewarded coin and unlocked a quarry, a stone cutter, and a gun tower. I don't have enough housing for everyone, so first order of business is houses, so we don't end up with low satisfaction. So let's go ahead and set up a gun tower. So gun tower will protect vulnerable ports. You can intercept ships to stop them from attacking your pirate base with a ship, and that's something that like Edward Teach is particularly good at because he has strong guns and strong ship armor. So he's really only good at ship-to-ship combat. But as long as the gun tower here is within or close enough to stop the coastal area to be vulnerable, that's what we're looking for to do. And I don't necessarily want to take up any of this fertile soil, so I'm going to place the gun tower right here, trying to get it ramped right. There we go. That'll work. Perfect.
I smell gold.
And the stone that we had just plundered from that fight can be used to build a small gun tower. Oh, there's a path and connection problem. Really? But I connected it. Oh, because the no, there shouldn't be a problem. Alright, is this not empty yet? Got it. It's about to be. There it goes. Now it's empty. Where'd all my stone? Oh, you know what? All right. The next part is we need to source stone. So I'm going to select a quarry, and there's only one stone deposit anywhere within the sphere of influence of our original camp, which is right here. And then I'm going to create a stone cutter right next to it, so that we can start making cut stone for the tower. Then let's go ahead and create a path directly from the stone cutter to the tower itself for now, and then we can change the path later on. Okay, and now this warehouse is clear to be refunded. So this warehouse is going to source its planks from there now, which is a bit far, and once I have the means to shorten that distance, I will. Like, one way to do it would be to have it, like, just go to the beach and then up. Something like that. And that makes it a little bit easier. As you can see, that's now a yellow, and as I get the technology, I'll improve it farther. Alright, so here we are. We've got the quarry cutting stone, and then the stone cutter turning that quarried rock into stone blocks. And then those stone blocks are going to be incorporated into this gun tower. And I'm changing the paths around just a little bit.
Everything's ready. We can build our first gun tower.
All right, while we do that, I'm going to send... So let's see what we've got out here. We got Jetsam, which anyone can do. We have a smuggling run, which is going to be maneuverability and speed, which is like one of the things that Kanja is decent at. We've got a crown port raid, which is something that like Teach would be good at. And then a treasure map, which is a boarding thing, something like Scarlet would be good at. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch captains out to Scarlet.
That's what I like to hear.
And then send Scarlet down to the treasure cove, or cave. And as you can see, she has the boarding damage bonus that this mission suggests that she would have in order to do it. And the reason I'm doing this is more black powder sounds like a good thing. So let's get some more. I wonder if it makes the pigs taste better. Spinning around like that. It's a good question.
Ready for action.
This place has the sweet smell of treasure about it. Let's spread out and get our bearings.
Okay. So for this, it's a 3-stage. We need to chart, demoralize, and investigate. Here be dragons. We're going to lose supplies and damage to crew. Let's protect our crew and gain charts. And we need to gain 10 charts to progress. So we have 7 of 10 charts. The opponent gains 2 die next turn, gives 1 to the player. So let's do a careful survey where we gain even more die next turn. Or actually, you know what? I could also do Rise Up Mateys, gain more die in the dice pool for the rest of the objective. It's high in supply cost, but it might be worth it. No, I'm going to do Careful Survey. Okay, we're done with that stage.
They must be guarding the treasure. Too bad. What's theirs is ours now.
Okay, they're doing makeshift cover to prevent crew damage. And we need to reduce the crew below 50%. So I could try to overdamage, or in this case, I'm just going to Rise Up Mateys to gain more dice. Now it's trying to do 2 to 3 damage to my crew. And what I could do in this case is dodge and weave to prevent damage to the crew. Sure. Deal damage to crew, take damage to crew. Twice that. So I'm going to sacrifice some crew so that we can do big damage here.
We sent them running.
So we lost 2
They were guarding
swabbies
this cave. Torches out, and in we go.
and defeated that stage, which I think is a reasonable compromise. All right, now we need to gain 10 hints for this last stage. So lose supplies, and what I'm going to do is useful find. I'm going to prevent supply loss and gain hints. Lose supplies, do damage to crew. I'm going to prevent crew loss and gain hints.
Ha! Now that's a solid haul. Grab
And we
what
did
you
it.
can, me hearties. Let's bring this.
Seize destiny. Let's go.
I didn't
back.
have a lot of supplies left at the end, but there we go. Our successful treasure hunt. Okay, gun tower just needs a few more cut stone, and there it
This
is.
measly tower is enough to hold off Amara.
Let's give it a chance, shall we?
So, the gun tower here only works if it can be supplied with black powder. And that is a weird warehouse. What is even going on with that? Why would you go that far? You have a much better path. Good God. Alright, well, I'll have to improve that. At least that's at least a little bit less ridiculous. That's even less ridiculous. There we go. It's a bit better. Alright, so what's happening here is they are going to fetch gunpowder from the port. Because the port, we've looted gunpowder now twice. We're about to get 100 gunpowder there. And then deliver that gunpowder to the tower in order to produce shot. In order to defend our ships from raiders. So, there we have a very short path from the gun tower to the pier.
Of course. Our harbor.
And Scarlet's back. And I am going to hire more swabbies. Alright, over here we have a smuggler run where we might get drifters as a result. And a shipwreck and a jetsam. I think, because we don't have a lot of drifters, this is most interesting to me, and we need speed and maneuverability. Speed and maneuverability isn't Scarlet's strong suit. So let's go to Scarlet.
Of course. Switch
her out for Honorata. Honorata is speed and maneuverability, or maneuverability, because, you know, typos.
Ready to sail.
So, switching captains again. And you can see how important it is to select the right captain for the right job, because they're not all hammers. They're different tools. So let's go embark on the smuggling run to try to gain cohesion and also gain some more drifters. And Honorata's out. The blue area that pops up the sphere of influence, this thing, indicates the distance from... It's as vertical as you want it to be, but it's within the sphere of influence of the pirate camp. So, like, I could, for instance, build a tent up here. It's still bound to the camp. Verticality doesn't matter in this instance. There we go. So what happened here is we had black powder delivered to the small gun tower, and very slowly they'll turn black powder into shot to defend our port. And that's the goal. Well, if no one's using this path, I'm just gonna nuke it. Apparently I can't. That's concerning. Perhaps I found another bug. Bug 2. I'll just try to load, but if I'll leave it. If I can't get rid of it, it's fine. I'll work around it. In the scope of this stream, it's not a big deal. The other thing I could do is delete any attaching buildings and then just put them back. So I could just get rid of this sawmill. Actually, I can't demolish anything at the moment.
Be ready for anything.
Thank you for tuning in to Corsair Cove, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Corsairs.